in September 29th, I'm using up my 2 minutes. In September 29th, I found myself myself being sentenced to 6 to 26 years for the crime of aggravated robbery and battery, and I was found myself on the 7th year of that sentence, sitting in a room with like-minded backsliders in front of a cache of books from Grace Community Church. And at that time, when I hit the institution, thank you, brother. When I hit the institution...
Can I go now?
Yes, you can. When I hit the institution, they were listening to a series on Ecclesiastes. And it was evident to me that the person that God had chosen to deliver this message had labored intensely over these 3 or 4 verses that at the time I was listening to. Not only was it evident to me that he had labored intensely, but I found myself pondering what type of person would know the Hebrew word for preacher, Koheleth. And then at the 10th year of my sentence, God was merciful and decided to release me from prison. And Mike, on the first Sunday that I was released from prison, Mike Cadez picked me up and he brought me here. And I sat behind the Strackens. And the pastor was going through the book of Romans. And this particular day, the sermon was on justification by faith and faith alone. And as was his habit in the application phase, there was a picture drawn. And the scene was in heaven, and an accused was standing before a righteous judge. And the judge, having accepted the terms of the plea agreement from the daysman, brought down his gavel and declared the accused not guilty. But that wasn't the most remarkable part of this illustration. After declaring the accused not guilty, the sovereign judge took off his robe and stepped down from his desk, embraced the accused, and then adopted him. After the sermon, I sat and this is after we had sung "In Christ Alone" and "Grace, Grace, God's grace, grace that is greater than all of my sin." And after the sermon, I sat absolutely, that God was kind enough to speak to me in such a way that I understood that I was safe. And I no longer had to be in prison. And finally, the last sermon that impacted me from this church, and the reason that I'm here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is our life together. It was absolutely life-changing. With the foundation being Acts chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm sure some other places in 1 John. And after that, here's a guy from the Bronx, New York. These guys wouldn't leave me alone. Dinner, lunch. And I said, "Did you know that I'm a convicted felon?" They didn't care. He said, now you're part of the family. And so I stand here before you, an object of God's grace and a benefactor of God's grace to Grace Community Church and his blessings there. And so I'm eternally grateful for the love. I know I'm surpassed my 3 minutes, Brian. Ingrid and Charlie, Vic and Bertie, Steve and Molly, some of the deacons, Dave Wetmore and old Nathan Weller. These are people that took a low-down convict and allowed me to break bread in their homes.